Hello everyone, Ember here, and welcome back to a new video. In this one, I'm going to be taking a look at some Crustle decks from the set Destined Rivals. So it's Heatwave Arena right now for Japan, but by the time this card makes it out into the West, it'll be part of our next set, Destined Rivals, which is releasing in May. So Crustle, for those of you who don't know, is a 150 HP Stage 1 Pokemon that honestly looks to be one of the best single prizer decks post-rotation, which is kind of crazy. But it does have the very powerful ability Mysterious Stone House, which is very appropriately named. It says prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon EX, which would have been relevant pre-rotation if it hadn't included V-Stars, but of course they're, all rotating and stuff, so that's not super relevant, it's just EX. But, if we do see another mechanic released in the near future, then Crustle might get a bit weaker, I guess, in that sense. But aside from that, it's a very potent ability, and definitely one that we've seen a lot of in the TCG over the years. The more recent incarnation, of course, being Mimikyu. But it does have a pretty good attack as well. Great Scissors for a Grass and a Double Colors. Does 120 damage, and then it isn't affected by any effects whatsoever on your opponent's active Pokemon, which is really cool. Now, I will say, I think the main downside of Crustle right now is that we don't have like a Double Colors style card. So you'll see like a lot of these lists will use like a very creative way to get the 3 energy on there if they intend to attack with Crustle, which is probably what you want to do anyway. Like you do want to be at least threatening your opponent and like, well, don't take that out of context, but like threatening some KOs basically. But yeah, I would say the one weakness Crustle has right off the bat is the high retreat cost. Like I think that could be a bit of a problem, but pretty much we've got some new cards here though. We have a Yanmega EX, which looks to be just a very solid partner to Crustle overall. It's a fellow grass type, stage 1 at that, 280 HP, has the very powerful ability Buzz Boost, which says once in your turn when this Pokemon moves from your bench to the active, you may search your deck for up to 3 basic grass energy and attach them to Yanmega, which is really cool because it just means you can then follow it up with a Jet Cyclone, which does 210, and then you get to move 3 energy from Yanmega to one of your bench Pokemon. So you can just move the energy to Crustle basically, and then use Great Scissors after that. Or, wait until Yanmega gets KO'd, stuff like that, switch around, get more energy in play. There's a lot of ways, a lot of combos you can pull this off. Like, you don't necessarily even need Crustle in a Yanmega deck, but it's still a very fun option and definitely worth taking a look at. Also got this Ethan's Typhlosion, which, believe it or not, is a bit of a partner for Crustle, it would seem. So yeah, it has the attack Buddy Blast, which does 40 damage, and then 60 more for each Ethan's adventure, in your discard pile. So yeah, just a fairly effective and, just a fairly solid single prize attacking option there, capping at 280. But, it's decent damage, I would say. Like, you won't be able to hit weakness on other Yanmega decks, which is a bit sad, but yeah, Yanmega is weak to lightning. But Buddy Blast, it's still a whole chunk of damage, and there's still going to be a lot of basic EXs and stuff that have relatively low HP. Like Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX, if that ends up being really good, that has 280 HP. So, just some food for thought, really. But this first list here, finally getting going, we have a Yanmega Crustle build and a 3-3 line of Yanmega, so it's definitely more of the focus here. You could also opt to lead the game, I should say, with a Budew, which is cool. Got a Tatsugiri with Attract Customers, very interesting. You don't always see Tatsugiri. And then a 3-3 line of Dunsparce. I'm not sure why this player has gone for a split of Dunsparce. Maybe it matters, maybe it doesn't. But either way, a 3-3 line. Also, one Dunsparce EX, so you have just a simple colorless attacking option. I do believe this is coming out in the set of Journey Together, but it does like 60 damage for each Pokemon EX on your opponent's side of the field. So quite a nice way of doing a lot of damage against stuff like Zoroark EX, which is cool. Got a Pheasantipity for some additional draw support, but of course with all Pheasantipity decks, you don't actually need Pheasantipity. It's just one of those things that helps the deck out a ton, really. But as aside for that, really, I don't think there's anything too interesting in the trainers. Like Scoop Up Cyclone is kind of inspired, but I guess that just allows you to remove a Yanmega if it ever gets too damaged, because maybe you don't want to drop too many prizes in the early or mid game. So that's kind of cool to see. Maybe, to get rid of Pheasantipity if you start with it. But yeah, honestly, looks like a really solid list. Would be very interested in trying this out at some point, maybe as a Yanmega or even just a Crustle deck. So, can take out 2 birds with one. Well, I completely messed it up. It's 1 bird with no, it is 2 birds. I'm for God's sake, man, I hate recording some days. I think there's just some days where I can't record a video to save my life, and this is one of those days. But okay, we're just going to move on. Okay, it's fine. We don't need to do 2 takes per video. No, we're not going to be professional. Right, next list. We have a Crustle Munkidori list. So this is a single prize only list. So if that's kind of appealing to you, then, well, cool. It's going to be a very cheap deck to build. A 4/4 line of Crustle and then 2 Munkidori. That's it. I found a Munkidori recently in the bulk pile. So, like, I mean, I don't think Munkidori is bulk or anything, but, you get what I mean. It's a very popular card. A lot of people have them. So if you ever find someone who's dropping a deck that has Munkidori in it, then that's an easy way of picking up 2 copies. But either way, a very, very cheap deck to build, I would say. Also, the A spec for this deck is really inspired. It's the Pokevital. You see what I mean about recording videos? Pokevital A, that's what it is. I think this one says like heal 120 damage from your active Pokemon, which is, yeah, it's interesting, right? You can fully heal a Crustle if your opponent's been able to do some chip damage on it with their own single prize attackers. But like in all honesty, you're probably just better off running like a scoop up Cyclone, I would have thought, and just reset the Crustle. But I guess if you do that, then you have to reset your energy, which would be a bit painful in this build because you're using Crispin as your main way of powering these guys up. Which is kind of cool though, because Crispin, of course, will get you synergy with Munkidori, because you can attach the Dark Energy or search and attach the Dark Energy manually if you wanted to. So, pretty cool. Also running 4 TMs. Not sure why you need 4 TMs really. So, what's that? TM Energize, TM Evolution, and then the last one does like 280 damage if your opponent has 1 prize left, which is quite funny actually. You could get like reverse victory on your opponent, like Psych, you thought you were about to win. Well, now I win, which is quite funny. I do find that amusing. But aside from that, it's a very interesting list. I'm not sure I'd go out my way to build this IRL or anything, but yeah, it does look like a very fun list though overall. Also got some Colress's Tenacity, which is fun to see. So yeah, oh yeah, 5 stadiums. Wait, what is this list? 5 stadiums, 3 Heroes Cape. Okay, this is a bit of a strange list actually. Moving on. It's cool though. Next up is we have a Crustle Milotic Fardraft deck. I'm going to be brutally honest, I've not played a single game with Milotic or Fardraft, so like, I don't know a whole ton about how these decks work, but Milotic and Fardraft already seems to be an established deck anyway in Japan, so Crustle's just kind of like yet another piece to add to the puzzle. So Crustle's kind of cool, it gives you a really decent single prize option to just wall out your opponent, so it's just yet another annoying Pokemon you can try and set up. If you like this kind of deck, it'll be right up your alley. But personally, I think the different flavors of energy are what makes this deck cool, not the fact you're running 3 different stage 1s. But it does look fun either way. You've even got a Hero's Cape as the A spec, which is pretty cool. But, aside from that, yeah, not really my cup of tea. But I'm going to give it a fair review and say, I'm assuming, if you like Milotic and you like Fire Giraffe, then you'll probably enjoy this deck. So that's kind of cool to see. Just not something I would probably build, really. But, it seems kind of fun, right? Next up, though, is we have a Crustle Ogrepon deck. A 4/4 line of Crustle, so very thick again. Also 2 Ogrepon, and yet again we see Pokevital A or B or C, whichever one it is. But yeah, that potion thing, so that's in here again. Also running 3 Heroes Cape, also running 4 Stadiums. Okay, this might be the same player as the previous one. Maybe it's the same player, or like someone had seen the other list, or like they've copied each other, vice versa, or something. But yeah, it's a very, very similar list, really, to the one we looked at earlier. But you're kind of just swapping Munkidoris for Teal Mask Ogrepon. Not Teal Mask, sorry. Cornerstone, that's the one. They're all called Ogrepon, it's easily mistake done. But yeah, Cornerstone Ogrepon, cool idea, I guess. Crispin Synergy seems fun. It's like a decent 2 prize option. It's got some, some tank ability and stuff. But yeah, aside from that, I'm not really feeling this list. But it is worth noting actually, there was a lot of like Ogrepon variants of Crustle that I looked through to make this video. So maybe speaks volumes as to how people over there believe in this deck, basically. So yeah, definitely one to keep an eye out for. Then we have probably my personal favorite on this list, just because I think Crustle in here is not really an attacker as such. It's just more of a Pokemon you run away to for a little while, while your opponent just, civvies through your Pokemon and you set up Typhlosion, basically. Because you kind of just want Typhlosion to be the main attacker in here anyway. But you are playing 2 Grass and 2 Reversal. So, like, it's not unrealistic to attack with Crustle, but you'll probably just want your opponent to, like, KO a Quilava or something, or a Dwebble, poor Dwebble. And then, you, like, reverse swing with a Crustle while you set up the next Typhlosion or something. But It's kind of fun though. It is a single prize option. Also running that new Shaman, which will protect your guys from bench damage. Unfortunately, I don't think Shaman protects you from Dragapult, so good luck against that. But yeah, I really don't like Dragapult unless you can't tell. But yeah, Shaman, it's cool though. It's nice. It's better than nothing at the end of the day. And the trainer lineup is very fun with this deck. Got Prime Catcher in here. Also got Vengeful Punch, which is cool. Again, Luxurious Cape, because 150 HP is not actually a lot these days, so being able to give it 100 more HP is quite funny. So basically just turns into an EX with 250 hit points, which is kind of cool. So yeah, very fun list overall. Also running Morty's Conviction, I've just noticed, but yeah, seems like a lot of fun. Then next up is we have a Feraligatr Crustle build. This one's kind of cool. Like, I'm personally not really a huge fan of the Feraligatr Hidden Run deck, but I know a lot of people are. So I'm going to assume this is going to be like right up some people's streets because like Crustle, of course, is a great Pokemon to pivot into. So that's cool. Again, you're not really attacking with Crustle in this build. I mean, you do run the Grass Energy, so it's an option, but at the end of the day, I think it's definitely more of just a pivot piece, really. Although, scanning this list, I'm not seeing any switch except a skateboard. Yeah, that's interesting. So maybe you are like just leaving Crustle there for all eternity, or at least until your opponent bosses around it or something, which is going to be inevitable, I would imagine. But yeah, run one Relicanth feels a bit dodgy. I know that's Alana's Aid down there between Chrisman and Artisan, but yeah, just one Relicanth feels a bit risky. I suppose you got Night Stretcher, right? But yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe want to run two Relicanths. Maybe cut a Munkidori. But yeah, also running Budu, I guess. You got some early game support, but it does seem like a lot of fun. But I think I'll be more likely to try out this one first. But yeah, it seems cool though either way. But yeah, thanks for watching. This has been a complete mess of a video. If this never sees the light of day, the reason being I've just decided, you know what? I need to record a second take, but it's honestly been a lot of fun to record, so I might just send it out as it is. But yeah, let me know what you think down below. Of course, will you be playing Crustle? But yeah, this has been Emma Power, and yeah, have a good night. Thank you for watching.